Kota Torah, Parshas Bamidbar, page 26. Like 12 lines in the bottom of the first column. Class sponsored today by Avram Maradian. For all good things. Okay, the last thing the Alter Rebbe is explaining is that the ultimate Torah mitzvahs is that L'yiras Hashem, and he therefore says, what did Matan Torah accomplish? Like it says, Le'sirtzach, meaning you shouldn't kill the Nefesh Habama, should not kill the Nefesh Elokis. Don't steal means don't be a bluffer, don't give people wrong impressions, and all that stuff. Le'sinaf means your power shouldn't go out to the Chitzanim, to the evil forces. So he says that's the whole inyan of Torah being Eitz Chayim Hi Tershab Ksav Tershab Al Peh. Okay, this is where we're up to now. And he said La'asad Lavai, though, when Ruach HaTumah Avim Min HaOretz, all these things won't exist. And this is what it says, Ki Ayin Ba'ayin Yiru. When Mashiach comes, it says, eye to eye will see. Shi'ariyas Ayin Shalamato. What do you mean, Ayin Ba'ayin Yiru? What's the double expression, eye to eye will see? He says the eye down here is going to see the way the eye from above sees. Like he said, just like Mamayla Lamata, everything is Einayd Movadai, so Losalav Bruch HaTumah Avim Min HaOretz is going to be the same level. Shalvo Mashva Liriyas Ayin Shalamayla. Like it says last, it says Yosef Beini Hashem. Look at what it says over there in that Maamar. Ach Shebizman She'en Beis HaMikdash Chayim. But now that there is no Beis HaMikdash, so what do we say in Musaf? Ein ani yechelim nirais rishtachavos. We can't see and bow. What do you mean? Nowadays we don't see like Hashem sees. Ayin means even in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, it was ultimate kedusha. The Eden saw the perspective of the world. It was like Hashem's perspective. But now that we don't have a Beis HaMikdash, now that we don't see the world the way Hashem sees it, like the Pasuk says, your sins separate you and Hashem. What does the sin do? It makes a separation. The Pasuk says, ayin ba'ayin, I'm sorry. No. Avinisechem avdilim beinechem uvein alakechem. Your aver is separate between you and Hashem. So the Alter Rebbe says, what does it mean between you and Hashem? The aver is now separate between your way of perspective and Hashem's perspective. In the time of Asad Love, in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, our perspective is the same as Hashem's perspective. That Einayd Mulvadi. Days, and through this, that we don't see things the way Hashem does. Salak HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Salak Le'el Hashem leaves. V'nar Yachra V'yavish. And the river, as the Pasuk says, dries up, becomes destroyed and dries up. Yochare B'bayis Rishon, V'yavid B'bayis Sheni. It says, when the first Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, Yacharav, and then Yavish is the second Beis HaMikdash, which was even worse. It's mamish dried up. Shafilu b'bchinas Bayis Rishon. Even Bayis Rishon, which is Reishis Nami Maimu, which is the level of Chachma, Yichare will be destroyed. V'yistale b'chinas Hamshachah Gili Elokusei. And Elokus will be checking out of the place. He says Bayis Rishon means, Rishon is Bereshis, right? B'chochmasa. So, Bayis Rishon was when they saw Elokus. That's why you had the 5 things in the first Beis HaMikdash that the second Beis HaMikdash didn't have. Even the Oren they didn't have in the second Beis HaMikdash.
It was hidden, right? Talking about Shechina?
Yeah, the same level of Shechina. Which is Gili Amidah Shabal Vovei. So he says, Matan Torah accomplished L'yiras Hashem. The ultimate purpose, Matan Torah, was we should see the world from Hashem's eyes. Not from our eyes, that Lamata Yesh, or Lamayla Ayin, but rather that Einayd Mulvadi. Right? So he says that's the Avodah of Torah mitzvahs. That will openly be seen when Mashiach comes. Ayin ba'ayin yiru. But what happened? The Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. So therefore what happened? So we don't have that perspective like Hashem does, because Hashem's not here to give us that perspective, so to speak. Again, what does it mean he's not here? He's concealed, not Chas v'Shalom, he's not here. From our eyes, he's not here. He's concealed. Because again, if we don't see it, or we don't feel it, or we don't smell it, or we don't touch it, and whatever the other senses are, then in our world it's not here. And therefore what brings the stuff back? The level of tshuva. Will be revealed the light that is good. How does that happen? He says, what's tshuva? Tshuva is not chas v'shalom atzah, sadness, which is depression. Meridus means bitterness. That how far the neshama is away from Hashem. Aydei meridus nafshu, through the bitterness of the heart. Miyos mimari chushbina, to be people that make a reckoning. K'may shahoyu b'mitzrayim, like it said, vayimarus chayim aveda kosha. Then it could be, as the pasuk says by Mitzrayim, vatal shavasim elavaya. Then their cries went up to Hashem. Through being bitter, again, bitter is not sadness or depression. Meridus means I realize that I'm far away from where I should be. Yeah, the whole concept of tshuva is returning to that level that we see the Shekhinah the way we're supposed to see it. Supposed to look at the world the way we're supposed to see it.
Why is this parallel with Bati Legani?
What does this have to do with Basi Legani?
Must be a connection.
Yeah, Basi Legani, the part refers to Matan Torah. Yeah, so I mean, like.
Now it's coming down.
No.
Over here is different. It's Shuvah. Over there is Nesim. Over there, Rabbi are giving you the Ashpa. It's coming from there. Over here, it's coming from us.
Where does the koyach of a Jew doing tshuva? Where does the koyach of a Jew doing tshuva comes from? From the Rebbe. From the Rabbi.
Through Rabbi.
No, through Moshe Rabbeinu.
So that's the parallel. I was looking.
Go parallel park. Kitzish, Tachlis Inyan HaTorah mitzvahs liyiras Hashem, yiras Hashem kadeshav. Hainu gilui k'mei shelemai. What does it mean to term mitzvahs to see Hashem? That the gilui should be the way it is lemaila. That lemaila yashum ata ayin. That should be the same thing. The gilui zahayu b'shas matan Torah. Openly, this gilui was by matan Torah. The world saw. Kipi Hashem diba, everything. V'zal Yisrael Kiyam Avram. That's the advantage of Torah mitzvahs over Avram. Avram didn't elevate the Gashmis. He didn't bring down this level of Elukus to see Leisitzah enough. It's Lashon Sivui and Lashon Avtacha, like I said before. How do we find the world now? Now that there is no Matan Torah again, so to speak. Hashem is not coming down. He does, we don't see it. But I'm saying this point of Elokus coming down, so it's through I speaking. Okay, so he says, this Riyah of seeing Elokus, and again, there's a level of Shmiyah, and there's a level of Re'iyah. By Matan Torah it says, Rein es anishma, v'shemim es anira, which is not for now, the whole explanation of it. But there is a level of Re'eh Yonechi Noisin Lefnecha Mayim, Parshas Re'eh, and the Parsha before that it says, V'ya Ekev Tishma'un. There's a level of Shmiyah, of hearing, and there's a level of seeing. Now hearing doesn't mean hear, in one ear, out the other. What? Deadhead. Ooh, you're good. Deadheaded means, the Friedrich Rebbe says there's heden, which means to hear, and there's deadhead in English, the word for it would be to listen. Okay? When the parents are talking to the teenagers, it didn't even go in. But then the parent says to him, are you listening to me? We don't say, are you hearing me? Hearing is nothing. It goes in, it goes out. You hear it. Listening, it means it has its effect. Okay? Matan Torah is a level of Re'enas Nishma. Those levels which are normally understood, you need to see it. What does seeing mean versus understanding? Listening, Shema Yisrael doesn't mean hear. It means understand. Understanding is not as certain as seeing. In English, there's an expression, seeing is believing. Sometimes when a person understands something very well, you explain something to somebody, you say, oh, I see. What do you mean you see? You don't see. You understand. What do you mean you see? They don't even know what they're saying, but that's the expression. What do you mean I'm seeing? I understand it as if I would have seen it. Which means like this. If I understand something, you can come to me and show me that I don't understand it. Right? You can just, if you're smarter, you just make me crazy and show that I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't understand it. If I see something, if I see this phone on the table, you could bring a million proofs that it wasn't here. You're not going to change my opinion. Right? Because I see it. If I understand it, you can prove to me I don't understand it.
Rabbi, a judge can't be a judge.
That's why a witness can't be a judge, because when a witness sees something, he can't be impartial. And a judge has to be impartial. The pasuk says a judge has to be impartial. Once a judge sees something, he can't be impartial anymore. A judge hears two witnesses say he killed him, and another two witnesses say he didn't kill him, so he's not impartial. Even if two witnesses say he killed him, yeah, but it's possible two witnesses will say he didn't kill him. Somebody else killed, whatever. But when you see something, so what is the inyan of Re'iyah Nalukus, Re'enas and Nishma? He's saying over here, this Re'iyah is the bittul of Lishmeya B'kol Devarei. But that the understanding is in the form of a Re'iyah, in a way of seeing. Hine b'chinas Re'iyah bittul zeh is called the Shmeya B'kol Devarei, which is a level of saying Tosim Malach HaMelech. Put a king over you, Lishmeya B'kol Udav Gebei, Li Batul Eilav Yisbarach, and to become Batul. Okay, skip about the next 10 lines. Okay, so he says, we need to have, before you have the level of Re'iyah, first you have Eisi Devarei. What does the pasuk say? Eisi Devarei, Lishmeya Kol Devarei. Okay, first there has to be Asiyah. Kihine Malchus Chamalchus Kol Elamim. Malchus is the Malchus Shekol Elam Esayenim V'Tachteinim. All of the higher spiritual worlds and the lower spiritual worlds, Kiyumim V'Savusam. Mi'ayin Liyesh, their existence, Mi'ayin Liyesh, is the level of Malchus Yisbarach, from the level of Malchus. Which means like this. When Hashem created the world, and he spoke, Bereshit Gemara is also an utterance, yeah? Bereshit bar lekim as a Shemayim v'es ha'aretz, that Shemayim refers to Elam Esel Yoinim. Atzil is higher than Atzil, all the way up there. Aretz refers to Gashmistic world. So how did Hashem create Shemayim? Also with Dibur. Dibur is a level of Malchus. That means Malchuscha, Malchus Kol Elamim, means all the worlds, physical, spiritual, all the way up there, is all from Malchuscha. Is a level of Malchus, which is the lowest level of Elokus. Malchus is the lowest level, which is the level of Dibur. So he says, what? So the question is, so how can we have Kam Malchus, be Melech Shmei Nikra Aleim, Okay, so the Alter Rebbe is asking, if the whole existence is Malchus, so what does it mean, Melech Shmei Nikra Alehem? The existence is Malchus. And yet we're saying we should call Hashem on us. It's like it's something additional. If our existence is Malchus Chamalchus Kol Elamim, so how can we have the level of Melech Shmei Nikra Alehem? It is that. Aval Inyan Shaydei Teiro Mitzvahs, what happens? Mamshich and Bechinas Ratzon Elyon. V'zlias Melech Shmei Nikra, to reveal that level of godliness. To have Melech Shmei Nikra Olav means that this, the existence of everything in the world is Malchus. But we don't feel it. The purpose of Torah Mitzvah, like you said by Matan Torah, is that down here it should be openly noticeable, this level of Elukus, of Malchus. It should be revealed and sensed. And that's what we say, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam, meaning, Sheyevarech v'yamshe b'chinas Atah. That the level of Atah, which refers to the essence of Hashem, should be Chesed, should become down in the level of Chesed, Lias Melech HaOlam. Haidei Shavai Elokeinu, V'anachnu b'Telem Ela v'kidshanu b'mitzvaysev. So the Alter Rebbe is saying like this. What is the level of a bracha? We say, Baruch Atah, Hashem Elokeinu, Melech HaOlam. So what do we want to bring down? The level of Atah, that Ein Eid Mulvadei, no names, the essence of Hashem, in Melech HaOlam, into the world. Right? That he should be Melech HaOlam, not that from our perspective we should realize that Melech HaOlam. Right? Ein Eid Mulvadei. But that's through Havai Elokeinu. Through the level of Bittul. That the Havaya, meaning the infinite level of Yud Kei Vav Kei, becomes Elokeinu. Elokim is nature. Elokeinu means this level of Havaya becomes us. Then we bring it down into Melech HaOlam. Then it comes into the world. And that's the Asher Kidshanu. Asher Kidshanu, because we're fortunate, like you said before, Kiddushanu b'mitzvaysev, because Hashem sanctified us with his mitzvahs. Which means that when a Jew does a mitzvah, they actually bring down this level of Atah, which is the perspective of Ein Eid Mulvadei, into Melech HaOlam. That the world feels. He says that's what Matan Torah is all about. What happened by Matan Torah? Vayered Havai al Har Sinai, and he said, Anechi Hashem Elokecha. Anechi Misha Anechi. As they say in English, I is who I is. Right? Anechi Misha Anechi. I am who I am. What do you mean I am? The Yisram is, says in the Zayat, the level of Anechi, which is not revealed, the Yisram is not even alluded to with any letter or any even crown of a letter. It's the essence of Hashem. So by Matan Torah, remember you asked before, what did Matan Torah accomplish? The Alter Rebbe says, what happened is now that the essence of Hashem came into the world. So now Matan Torah, like we learned last night, we mentioned, that all this didn't elevate the world. But now the purpose of Matan Torah is that you take the physical world and elevate it. That's what happened by Matan Torah. Now Hashem says, okay, build me a Mishkan. Right after Matan Torah, Hashem said, build Vasili Mikdash, because now that Matan Torah is gone, so you need to keep the Shechina here. Now, what keeps the Shechina here, practically speaking, when Jews do mitzvahs? There's no Shechina, there's no Beis HaMikdash anymore. So there's the level of doing mitzvahs, and through doing a mitzvah, what do we say in the bracha? Or other people say, we say we're bringing down the Atah, the essence of Hashem, that means the world from Hashem's perspective, right? That the reality is, Lamata ayin that Ein Eid Mulvadei.
Even the mitzvah for being body, for both.
Why do you do a mitzvah?
Some people just do it because they want to do the mitzvah. They're not about to just say that they have to do the mitzvah.
For what?
Mechanically, or
Mechanically, because you're mechanically programmed to do what Hashem wants.
so the ultimate is to be bought. That's the whole thing.
Duh.
I don't know what
We say Malchus, you quoted the pasuk. In Ashi you say Malchuscha Malchus Kol Olamim Memshaltecha B'Choderedet. Okay? Malchuscha and Memshaltecha. Meishel and Melech. Wait, we say it many times on Meishel. Okay? Now, Malchus say, as we say in Ma'ariv, B'Rotzein Kiblo Aleim. Definition of a king is that the people accept him. If a guy is a leader, it's called a dictator. That's Memshaltecha. Moshel is a dictator. Melech is a king that people coronate. Take Malchus and B'Rotzein Kiblo Aleim. Moshel is against your will. That's the definition even, Lashon Kodesh. Moshel is a dictator. Okay? And the Melech is a B'Rotzein. So Hashem says, you can do Malchuscha, and if not, Memshaltecha. Because anyway, whether we like it or not, like Dr. Rebbe says in Perek Beis of Tanya, but even the people, the Chayes of the world, it still comes from Hashem through the tzaddikim. You rebel against the tzaddikim, you're still getting it, but not pnimis, you're getting over the shoulder. So Hashem says to the Jews, basically, you have two choices. You could do it willingly, or if you don't do it willing, you're still going to get the chayas of me. Shout over there. The question is, if you want it, then you become a keli for it. Then you feel it. And if you don't want, you still get it, but you're not getting it in the pneumius. Again, pneumius and chitzenius is really basically the way the revelations are based on what we make for it. So, yeah, that's Memshaltecha. But whether we like it or not, the chayis comes from Hashem. The question is, is it face to face, panim b'panim diber Hashem, or is it over the shoulder?
Okay, what about the brachot that don't have Hashem to be shown? What are they again?
That's not Birchas HaMitzvahs. That's thanking Hashem for what He...
But you still bring it down.
Yeah, because the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that when a Jew eats L'Shem Shemayim and all that stuff, he says you're elevated to Kedusha ka'olah u'ka'korban. You elevate a guy, that's a maiden-dika thing the Alter Rebbe says over there. A guy eats L'Shem Shemayim, okay? Talking about it because he enjoys it. He eats it because... doesn't mean that's to taste bad. But he's eating it because he wants to live like a Jew. Like we said, you don't live to eat. Many people live to eat. Some people eat to live. Some people live to sleep. Sleep to live, whatever. So, you're still bringing down that level of Ata, Shem Elokeinu Melech Haolam, but not in the mitzvah. It's in the way, B'chol derechecha da'eyu, and Kol Masachel L'Shem Shemayim. It's not a mitzvah.
So it's the same Hamshofar.
It's not the same as a mitzvah, but yeah. Because when Hashem tells us to do something, then there's a connection, Mumayla. Why before Matan Torah couldn't the Avis reach that level? Avraham Avinu was a very great tzaddik, believe it or not. Yeah? Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov were mamish chesed, gvur, tiferet, atzilus. Yeah? They gave both the complete Merkava, they completely bittul. Why couldn't they bring down this level of elokus of Matan Torah? Because that ability to take Gashmias and make Gashmias Ruchnias could only come from a level of Anechi or Ata, which is above both. And that level wasn't revealed yet in the world until Matan Torah, when Hashem said Anechi, because of the essence which is above Gashmias and Ruchnias, therefore He's able to create the Gashmistic world to be holy, even though they're mamish opposites. Ruchni and Gashmi is more opposite than fire and water. Fire and water can never coexist. Right? Either water puts out the fire evaporates the water. They cannot coexist. Right? Now, but they're both Gashmi. They have something in common. They're Gashmi. Gashmi and Ruchni has absolutely nothing in connection. So Gashmi and Ruchni can't mix. The Mefarshim of Siddur say when you use the facilities and you make the bracha sheyatzar, we conclude the bracha Baruch Hashem, reifech al basar, umafli lasis. He heals all flesh and does wonders. Simple meaning of the bracha. What does it mean? Does wonders? What wonders are we talking about? That He connects Ruchnis with Gashmis. We said a million times. No matter what science will do, and the advancements of AI, they will never be able to create life. Because the definition of creating life means you are binding, connecting Ruchnis and Gashmis. That you can't do. Only Hashem can do that. You could take a tiny stem cell, which is, mamish, and because that already has life, then you can extend it. You could take a candle, one candle could burn down the whole world. No. It didn't even make the Gashmistic holy, because until then, Ruchnius is Ruchnius and Gashmis is Gashmis. See, he read, it says, he reached Sherish and Nevroim. He reached to the source of Nevroim before Matan Torah. But the source of Nevroim is also world. It's the source of world. So you can't make Ruchnius and Gashmis connected if you're bound by one of each of them. So Matan Torah accomplished, and therefore they didn't have it before. Which means, when a simple Jew, Pashat Yid, does a mitzvah, they connect to the essence of Hashem that Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov didn't.
A 9-year-old man heard from Hashem, he did bris.
That's why the bris, Chassidus explains, because Hashem commanded him to do it, then that made the Gashmis holy. Therefore, when he needed Eliezer to swear that he's going to find the shidduch over there, he says, "Simnon yachatachas yerechi." Basically, touch my bris milah. I mean, it's pretty unsneistic. So the Rashi brings it down because there was no other davar shebegedusha except his bris. Why was the bris holy? Because Hashem commanded him to him. That level of bris milah by Avraham Avinu was Matan Torah for bris. That's where it became holy. The Gashmistic of bris became holy.
Wow.